Now let's look at what consultative selling is. So again, let's go line by line. With product selling, we focus on talking about the product. With consultative selling, we focus on talking about the prospect. So we shift. Instead of talking about this is the product I sell, we want to learn more about what's going on with the prospect. And because we're talking about the prospect, instead of it being all about me, my company, my product, it becomes all about the prospect. So now put yourself in a social situation where you were talking with someone and they were just extremely interested in you and your life, and they asked you questions and they listened, and you just sat back and talked about all the things you love, your hobbies, the movies you saw, your travel, and think about how you feel as being that person where it's all about you. It feels pretty good. Well, if you agree with that logic, use that knowledge to your benefit and make sales situations all about the prospect. Product selling assumes that every prospect needs the product you sell. I have a great product. You need this. Everybody needs this. I can't believe why everybody isn't trying to buy this from me. Well, with consultative selling, you know that not everybody fits well, and you kind of question, does this prospect need what I have to offer? So you're coming at it from an inquisitive direction other than assuming that somebody wants and needs what you have. Product selling, you try to sell the product to every prospect because we know that not every prospect needs what we sell. With consultative selling, we don't try to talk prospects into wanting what we have. We spend time trying to find the prospects that need what we have. Because we know that there are people out there that need what we have. What we sell offers value, and there are people that need the value that we have to offer. We just need to find those people. And if there's no one out there that needs the value that you offer, then you're in the wrong business, you're working for the wrong company, because there is a slice of the world out there that needs what you have to offer if you sell a legitimate product. With consultative selling, the salesperson focuses on selling products to prospects. Now, with consultative selling, you focus on providing solutions to the prospect's needs. With product selling, you try to sell the product at every sales process step. With consultative selling, you're more focused on guiding the prospect to the next step of the process. So you're more focused on selling the next step of the process versus selling the product at every step. With product selling, the salesperson does most of the talking. Consultative selling, the prospect does most of the talking, or they do an equal amount of talking. So the way that ends up happening is you're asking a lot of questions, and that's when you're making things all about the prospect and you're focusing the conversation on them. The way you do that is by asking questions, and the way that you learn if the prospect needs what you have to offer is by asking good questions, and that's how the prospect ends up doing most or an equal amount of talking. Product selling pitch centers around explanations and descriptions. The consultative selling pitch centers around good questions. Product selling talks about the product to make the prospect interested. Consultative selling talks about benefits, problems, ROI, client examples to make the prospect interested. Product selling focuses on the salesperson's interests, like closing the sale, making money. Consultative selling focuses on the prospect's interests. Now again, I said I'm not discounting the need to focus on your targets and your making money, but your prospect interests are to improve their life, improve their business, make more money, save costs, make good purchasing decisions. I personally believe that you can be an ethical salesperson and still be and focus on selling products to prospects that need and fit well with what you have to offer, and still be an extremely successful salesperson. If you look at the far extreme of that, it would be to close the sale just for the purpose of making money and hitting your target, and by selling something to someone that they don't need what you're selling. You're talking them into buying something that they don't need. Not only is that not ethical, but it's probably not actually a good business decision. Let's just look at on the big scale. Let's say you sell a very expensive computer software. To sell a piece of software to a company that doesn't really need it or fit well, that would not you might close the deal, but that company is not going to utilize, or that's not going to be a good financial decision for them. So that's going to look back either at you as the salesperson or the company you work for negatively down the road. I personally believe lead with looking for, it's either balanced. Look at either lead with looking at the prospect's interest primarily, and then that will lead to your interest being met, or you do it equally. Definitely don't ignore the prospect's interests. And so when you're with product selling, you're trying to overcome all objections. With consultative selling, you're trying to redirect objections and maybe learn more about why the prospect has the objection. So that's consultative selling in a nutshell. Now I'll kind of provide more clarity around how you go down this path. Actually, let me stop by just kind of pointing out one question you may have here is does the product that I sell fit better with product selling or consultative selling? And the quick answer to that is I personally believe consultative selling fits almost with any product. Let me give you some examples. So of course, at the far end extreme, let's look at maybe a very complicated software piece of technology. And it would be very easy for you to say, okay, that definitely needs consultative selling because it's very complicated. There would have to be a lot of questions and discussion and whatever. That definitely needs consultative selling. Let me actually point out that there are plenty of people that sell very complex products that still do product selling, and I don't think they should, but they still do it. They still show up and, hey, this is the software that I sell, this is what the technology does, and it's all about me, and they're trying to close the sale. So just because you have a product that should be sold through consultative selling doesn't mean that that everybody is, and I can guarantee you there's a lot of really bad software salespeople out there that are doing product selling. But let's look at the other end of the spectrum. So that's very complex sale. But now let's look at something very simple. Let's take, for example, selling gym memberships to an exercise workout facility. Very simple product, right? This is where our weight room is. This is the sauna. This is the pool. Someone could walk in wanting a gym membership, and that could be a very easy product sell. Let me take you on a tour. These are the membership plans. Do you want to sign up? But that could be consultative selling. If you're the salesperson, you could say, hey, what brought you in here today? Do you currently belong to a gym? How often do you work out? What are some of your fitness goals? What are some of the reasons why you want to become healthier? When was the last time you tried to implement a workout regimen? What would be some impacts to your life if you were to achieve your fitness goals? So those are great questions. Those make it all about the prospect. Those questions give that gym salesperson great information. Now, if you fast forward to after the tour and when they're looking at the membership plans, that salesperson, not only have they used consultative selling to make the prospect more engaged and not only are there a lot of benefits, but now that salesperson has a lot of information that they can use when they're talking about the pricing plans and trying to close a deal. There are some cases where maybe you might have an impulse purchase that you might not want to do consultative selling. Let's say if you're selling something, let's say you're selling hot dogs at a baseball game. You might not want to sit there and talk to the person about, whether or not they should order a hot dog, an extremely unhealthy food item. You just might want to sell it. But technically you could, if someone were, asking you questions about the hot dogs you sell. I mean, being kind of fictional here, you could say, well, how often do you eat hot dogs? What kind of hot dogs do you normally get? What else, were you considering? If you didn't get a hot dog from me, what else here at the ballpark were you thinking about getting? What's your budget? I mean, you probably wouldn't do that selling hot dogs, but just for an exercise purpose, that would be more consultative selling, and you could apply it there. Auto sales is an example where you really kind of sometimes need someone to take that leap to purchase the car. So you might want to be cautious the amount of consultative selling you do with auto sales. But you could say if someone comes into a dealership, what brought you in here today? What are you currently driving? Are you have any challenges with your vehicle? What's your budget that you want to stay within? What are some of the features you're interested in? What's the timeline that you were looking to work against? So definitely you could use consultative selling with really anything. So I just want to point that out.